Let's get an update now from Eskom spokesperson Sikonathi Mantshantsha. Sikonathi, good evening to you. My understanding, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, is that on last week a deadlock was declared, which means it is then to go to the CCMA for mediation and arbitration. Could you just update me on where we are in this process of trying to resolve this deadlock?
That is, what you've just outlined is absolutely correct, Sally. Eskom has approached the CCMA and we are waiting on the CCMA for dates to commence that process. And of course, Eskom is doing what it can to find the partners, the labor partners, and even before that date, because it is in the interest of everybody that it gets settled as soon as possible. So where possible, there will be discussions with the trade unions. There will be discussions via the CCMA, and on the ground, as you know, that Eskom last week obtained a court interdict to really prevent employees from embarking on this illegal and unlawful action at the power stations and other facilities. So the demonstrations are still, of course, ongoing, and I'm happy to say there were no major incidents in particular today.
All right, so in terms of that court interdict that you obtained on Friday, am I correct in my understanding that the earlier concerns you had about intimidation and contracts being stopped is not occurring now, and that people who are coming out to picket are perhaps doing so peacefully and in their own time? Am I correct?
Sally, we have not noticed major incidents of intimidation today. There certainly are demonstrations at power stations. I am saying to you, they are largely peaceful. Yes, they are still unlawful.
All right. So talk to me then about what happens after Wednesday. You've explained the process we're at in terms of the wage talks. You said that at this point it seems that the picketing and the strikes have calmed down. Is there a chance that stage 4 load shedding could continue after Wednesday?
We will make that communication as soon as possible on or before Wednesday. That, of course, always depends on the condition of the plant at that time. I can say we are not able to return as many machines to service as we would want to. So we still are under severe constraints, but there is no reason to speculate. Eskom will communicate as soon as there are any developments worth communicating during or before Wednesday.
The reason I'm asking you is that on Friday we heard Eskom saying that the reason you had to go to stage 4 load shedding was because of these strikers who were stopping coal trucks getting through, etc., intimidating people from going to work. If that is stopped now, does that mean that Eskom can get back to perhaps level 2?
It would appear that we are speaking past each other.
All right, explain to me.
The demonstrations are still ongoing. Right. Let's get that right.
Okay.
The demonstrations at power stations are still ongoing, and some of the workers have still not reported for work. And others are really just going to demonstrate outside of the power stations. So those constraints that we mentioned in that statement on Friday are still ongoing. We still have shortages of labor because people are not reporting for work. We still have constraints. What I have said is not happening. At least today, we have not seen serious levels of intimidation of staff that are working. And we have the police on the ground enforcing order. So we do still have the wildcats, the unlawful strikes going on. Therefore, we still have shortages of labor, and we are still not able to return generation units to service as much as we would like to.
All right, so let me just summarize that the strike action continues. It's a shortage of labor because not everyone is coming to work. But so far today, you haven't had examples of outright intimidation, people stopping coal trucks, for example. What action will you, as Eskom, thank you, as Eskom take against people who've gone out on an unprotected strike and even after the interdict on Friday have continued not to come to work?
So Eskom is an essential services company, and by law, there is no industrial action that is permitted. So Eskom has to ensure that its employees are at work And those that are not at work are away on valid reasons. They are either sick or have been indeed granted leave. Those that have not been, and where Eskom will of course have to go audit and check who was at work and what, and for those who were not, what reasons were they not at work. There are established disciplinary processes where people stay away from work for whatever reasons, and Eskom will pursue those. This did happen during the last industrial actions during 2018. Where people had to submit themselves to be disciplined under the established codes, disciplinary codes that have been agreed with the trade unions previously. So we will employ those mechanisms now and bring a...
So that's not a straight line. Each case has to be investigated. Someone might have taken leave. Someone might have been genuinely sick. Talk to me about what happened before the interdict, because that was much more obvious, according to Eskom, because you are blaming Numsa for having to go to level 4 or stage 4. What was happening to the trucks? What sort of intimidation and what action will you be taking?
Let me correct you. We are blaming striking employees who went out and in some instances blocked access to power stations or out of power stations, prevented trucks carrying commodities that are required for the operation of power stations, and prevented employees from going into work or out of the power stations. And in at least 2 instances, they went in and pulled people out of work. So those were the incidents that did happen, and it was not by Numsa, it was by people wearing trade union regalia, and Numsa did not come out and confirm that it has led people on strike. Neither did Solidarity nor the National Union of Mine Workers. But what you see are Eskom employees waving flags of some of these trade unions and behaving in the manner I have just described. The trade unions, precisely because this is unlawful and they know it, have not themselves declared that there is a strike.
All right, that's really interesting. Thank you very much. Eskom spokesperson Sikonathi Mantshantsha. I want to